the world building, ladies and gentlemen. That world, I got that music playing in my head as I read this chapter. Bum, 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 bum. We have Heracles in the cover page, which I guess makes sense because we did get to see a cameo of him in the Film Gold trailer, so he hasn't returned to his island yet. You know, what's interesting is that last week when we saw Vivi in that final panel, and I mentioned that, you know, she was probably going to the Reverie, there was a couple of comments saying, what's the Reverie? So I don't know if those were people that just straight up like skipped part of the story, or they just weren't paying attention, or maybe it was just mentioned too briefly and they didn't really, you know, they didn't think it was going to be important, whatever. But I think this chapter does a pretty good job at explaining and reiterating what it is. I guess the best way that I could explain it is basically the Reverie is the One Piece equivalent of the United Nations. Very prominent figures from different countries, different areas from all over the world come together to Marijoa, the Holy Land, to discuss topics that are going to affect the entire world. The only difference with the United Nations here is that the assembly, in this case, in the One Piece world, only takes place every 4 years. Another major difference is that unlike in the United Nations, where people are mostly chill, like the representatives, they're from different countries, but they mostly get along, they're mostly peaceful, and they interact with each other in a very professional manner. This is the pirating world, so you can tell, I mean, they're not technically pirates, they're royalty. But the problem is that there are some kings, some representatives that have no business being kings. So the Reverie is usually known, historically been known, for conflict. Because there are good rulers and there are shitty rulers, like Wapol and Stelly, right? Like we know, like those are shitty fucking rulers. I mean, they're just horrible people, right? But they have the exact same level of political power than some of the good kings, like King Cobra and King Riku. And so they're meeting up in Marijoa, and like, we get a shot of the different kingdoms. Some of them are more important than others. Some of them we've seen more than others. I take part of that back because, okay, so we know from Doflamingo that 20 kingdoms, specifically 20 kingdoms, were the founders of the world government because they were the ones to overthrow the ancient kingdom, remember? So, with that being said, it's very weird to me that this chapter says, it was really, really kind of off, that it says that kings and queens from over 50 of the world's countries, 50 of the world's countries, so it's 20 kingdoms plus the 50 countries, or is it like 20 kingdoms within the 50 countries, or is it 20 kingdoms, you know, dispersed over 50 countries? And it gets confusing because the 20 families, all right, that were the founders of the world government, 19 of those families decided to say, hey, fuck the world. We're going to live in the Holy Land. We're going to live in Marijoa. The only family that said no, we're going to live with the rest of the people was the Nefertari family. But then, in order for the 19 families to be able to live in Marijoa, they needed to pick representatives in the common world. They need to pick substitutes for them to rule over the kingdoms in I guess, the normal world, the common world that's not Marijoa. So because the Nefertari family was the only family to say, we're not living up with you guys, we're just leaving down with the common people, King Cobra actually wants to find out what did the Nefertari family actually do to overthrow the ancient kingdom, along with these other 19 families, right? What happened? And if he gets the answer, that's some void century information. Which is why, again, this Reverie is going to be super fucking important. There's no way this Reverie ends peacefully. By the end of this, I can guarantee you people are going to pick sides. It's going to be divided. And we're going to, I don't know if this is going to start a war, but it's definitely going to be the trigger for something. For one, we have King Cobra's question, which I'm pretty sure the government's going to want to shut down. They're going to be like, you shut the fuck up about that. You do not ask questions about that thing. Pretty sure that question is going to be very divisive. Because I think it's going to separate the kingdoms that are super corrupt from the kingdoms that, you know, are against oppression. So that being said, I also think that it's a huge mistake to bring Shirahoshi into this. I think that if word has gotten around that she's an ancient weapon, that she's Poseidon, and remember, Caribou knows about this. He was eavesdropping. He could have possibly told Drake. Drake is working under Kaido, so if the word gets around, you know, what if Kaido has a representative, like a secret agent in Marijoa to go to the Reverie, and they end up kidnapping Shirahoshi? Oh man, it's a mess. Rebecca's going there, as well as Viola. King Riku, we saw Elisabello, a lot of familiar faces. Elisabello's palace, by the way, looked great. You know, we know Dalton, you know, from Drum Island is coming in. as well as Dr. Kureha, and Kureha is super old. She knows so much about this world. So I guess in a way you could say that you have like unofficial allies of the Straw Hats going into the Reverie. It's going to involve Vivi at some point. By the way, Vivi looks great. She looks like she's been working out. She says she doesn't want a husband, although hasn't there been some like foreshadowing that she might end up with Koza or something? It doesn't matter. She's a free woman, a free independent woman. She don't need no man. By the way, fuck you, Pell, for being alive, fucking taking a nuke to the face. And Hina, you know, who is from the Marines, she actually says, we'll be there in about, and then she doesn't say. So we don't really know how long it's going to take for them to get there. So we see a lot of old and familiar faces in this chapter, but we also get a lot of new faces as well. Like people that you're just like, wait, what? Specifically, the one that really stood out to me was this guy. We don't really get to see his face, but he has a chin and he has a clock on it. And I'm pretty sure most, if not all of these people are going to be either connected to major players in the story, or they're just going to be really important, like, you know, near towards the finale. Now, I kind of get the feeling that I'm going to regret saying this, and it doesn't really have anything to do with who I want to join, but I'm getting some super strong Carrot for Nakama vibes in this chapter. That was absolutely hilarious. Her interaction with Luffy and the rest, that was amazing. She loves adventure. She has a thirst for adventure. She has a thirst for the sea, the open sea. She's amazed by it, and just like the rest of the Straw Hats, and remember, this is the most important quality, she is also insane. The crew seems like they're totally hungover in this chapter. Then Carrot jumps in and Luffy's like, see? Why can't you be more like her? Wait, who are you? How'd you get here? That jump from Sunisha totally fucked everybody up. It's hilarious. To the point where like Luffy's like, hey, let's have a feast. You know, Sanji, food, you know, and then like Nami's like, okay, I'll do the cooking. I mean, I don't know. Can she cook? I don't know. But regardless, it doesn't matter because she's gonna fucking, you know, dry you up. Like, you're gonna be totally fucking poor after the feast because she's charging you way too much. And then by the end, Luffy's the one who says, fine, I'll cook the food. Oh, I cannot wait for the travesty that's gonna be. But Carrot brought provisions, all right? She brought, like she says, I'm not just a burden. I brought a carrot bento, carrot juice, and a snack, a carrot. Fortunately, nibbling on that carrot gets Luffy viciously attacked. And the only way that he could actually fend off against Carrot is just to pet her head. Wow, like that is crazy. Like, I mean, the fact that she was so vicious to protect her stash, her little provisions, which proved that she's not a burden because she brought a lot of carrot shit. I just assumed that Luffy just didn't like vegetables at all. So that was a little bit weird, but it was so funny. Like, the comedy in this was great. Amazing. There's actually one part where she's, you know, Carrot's like super enthusiastic, and she's like, wow, it's like the sea is like a wonderland. Is that like a reference to Alice in Wonderland, which kind of like is a reference to Whole Cake Island? Ah, Mary, Mary, but there. By the way, Bazu has been completely wiped out and is now in ruins. What? No. How? See a picture of the ruins, and there's a picture of Dragon there. I think there's also a picture of Sabo on the newspaper. Whatever, man. These fucking Blackbeard pirates beat the... I mean, okay, see, normally, I would be frustrated. I would say, man, Oda didn't show the fight. What the fuck happened here? This is a bunch of bullshit. But I really doubt that this fight was that one-sided. It doesn't... like, nothing is what it seems. If it's in the news... it's probably not trustworthy. We've learned this the hard way through One Piece. What I think happened here is that the Blackbeard pirates, before they attacked, I think that the Revolutionary Army just straight up left. They're like, okay, time to change headquarters. Let's go into hiding for the time being. Because Dragon was calling all his commanders, top tier dudes, top dogs, into the island. I mean, no fucking way did the Blackbeard pirates just freaking sweep this island with all the people there. I do not think that's the case. I think the revolutionaries went into hiding. That's kind of like what they're known for doing. They're really good at hiding. A lot of networks and a lot of contacts spread all over the world, right? So I'm pretty sure they bailed. Because otherwise, why would they be reporting on the fucking island? You know what I mean? You wouldn't report on the island. You would report, if something major happened, you would report on the people instead of the island. You would say, you know, finally, Monkey D. Dragon captured, or Monkey D. Dragon found dead. about to go. Or Commander Sabo, you know, imprisoned. And that didn't happen, you know. We care about the people, not the place. So they reported the news is about the place because it was a slow news day. Thank you so much for watching. I thought this chapter was great. A lot of great world building, a lot of great comedy, which are two main things that One Piece always gets right. Comment down below with your thoughts. Like the review if you did. I appreciate that. And subscribe to my channel for more One Piece stuff. Thank you.